Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
24 days of Christmas food around the world.
This is 24 days of Christmas food around the world, where every day of December, I'm rating a new Christmas dish from your countries.
Yes.
Today is day 1, and we're doing Canada's Christmas dish called tourtière. We start by
I thought
dicing
it
a
was
lot
like
of
a
onion and
poutine.
sweating it in butter with some garlic until it...
Ooh, so he's even making it himself.
That's a lot of dishes. He's talented.
No, not even that, but making it yourself, I don't know if that's the best representation.
Yeah, because the seasonings are different.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's like, but then again, he is making it, so it's all gonna be made the same way too, kinda. So whatever.
It's nice and soft. We then add our meat, and I'm working with
That's a lot
equal
of
parts
meat,
beef
right,
and
yeah.
pork here. Salt, pepper, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, mustard powder, and ground cloves. That's a lot of spices. And now we're just gonna cook it for about 45 minutes until it's nice and tender. The final step is to add some mashed potatoes to the mixture because these are gonna hold it all together. And what do you do with pie filling? You fill a pie with it. Poke the little vent hole in the middle and brush it with some egg. I baked it and it came out looking like this. This
Like a
was
pate.
decent. A little.
It's like a pate, but less dough and a shitload of meat.
And potato.
Yeah, I would prefer a pate than this.
Little too meat forward for me, and it just didn't quite bring out that holiday joy, but still delicious.
It's
I would give
missing
this a flat 6 out.
something. Like a cream. Or a sauce.
For my personal taste, too meaty. I would want a little more bready. But then again, I guess we do have potato inside. I wonder what kind of flavor does that bring. Maybe it makes up for lack of bread, though. Looks interesting. I've never heard of this dish, though. That looks interesting. Canada. Not something I would think when I associate Christmas in Canada.
Out of 10. And I wonder what day
Sorry,
2 is gonna
Canada.
be. Today's day 2, and we're
Why?
going
I'm not so, I don't...
No, I'm just joking.
Oh.
I don't
to
care.
Sweden for their dish called the Janssen's Temptation. And I gotta be honest,
Where
this
is this?
Janssen fella doesn't seem like the most
Janssen?
creative guy. We start with a layer of thinly sliced potato sticks, then in a lot of butter we will cook some thinly sliced onion with a little salt and a little sugar, and this is our next layer. Then we add some
Sugar.
canned anchovies, and I actually never had an anchovy before until this moment.
Yes, I've never had anchovies. You haven't had either, right?
Probably not a good idea to just have it like this. But we need a few of these guys here. Some more potatoes, more onions, more anchovies. And finally, we need to mix some heavy cream with the leftover anchovy oil and add that to our casserole. Bake
That's
this thing
what
and it's
I
gonna come out like
kinda
this.
made.
And surprisingly, this was not as bad as I imagined. I actually quite liked it. Enough to give it a 6.5. What is
That's like potato au gratin.
It's interesting dish. I think it heavily relies on your palate for anchovies. I don't know what it tastes for. I don't
It's
know
similar to what I made without the anchovies.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just, but anchovies change the taste. So
Yeah.
it really depends. If you don't mind anchovies, I think this is a great dish. If you don't like anchovies, you probably won't eat it. So
We're having that for
it's
Christmas too.
mine is the anchovies. So yeah, it's a
Yes.
it's the question mark for me.
star because it surprised me. Thank you, Sweden, and I cannot wait for day 3. This is day 3, and we are going to Greece for melo macaroni.
Okay.
We start with some orange juice, oil, powdered sugar, ground cloves,
Orange
cinnamon, baking
juice.
powder, and orange zest. And this is our wet mixture. Separately, we combine some flour and some semolina, and now we gotta mix the wet into the dry and mix until the cookie dough
I
is
think this is those cookies that we saw the Greece Christmas
Oh,
one
I
and
know it's orange juice.
I didn't either, but I think it looked the same, the picture.
formed. I made some balls out of it and pressed them against the spider for a webbed look. And look how cute these are. And baking them is just the beginning. I also prepared a delicious syrup with cinnamon, cloves, orange, and honey. And after it cooled down, I dunked my cookies into this syrup for just a few seconds. And they are ready to eat. Now
Yeah, it's the same because I remember the lady was also putting it, like covering it.
I
Yeah.
do have a strong
But
bias
this
for
is
sweet
just like
things, and I
not
try to
food. This is like dessert. Snack.
I think the idea is traditional food. If this is like a traditional Greek food for like a
the way he did it looks better than the other lady. I like the crust stuff on it.
yes.
be objective.
Well, the others was probably more traditional. This is like a
Oh.
fancy. He probably found like an advanced recipe on the internet.
But these made me so happy I had to give them an 8.8, which could be a double infinity depending how you look at it. But anyways, thank you, Greece. What are your day 4 predictions? This is day 4 of rating.
Damn, he goes really fast. I wish he focused a little. I mean, I know there's a lot of foods to cover, but
Yeah, 24 dishes? That's a lot.
yeah, I honestly I'd rather be like I'd not see the cooking part, but hear more about the food. Because we got like a sentence about each food, and that's it. Like,
Christmas food around the world. And let's see what's behind this door. It's Argentina, and this dish was one of the most unique ones I've ever had. This is round roast beef, and I cooked it slowly in some simmering stock for almost an hour. And once it cooled down, I sliced
Argentina
it
was
up in
finished?
thin slices. Now check out this sauce. We have tuna, mayo, anchovies, which I had a bad
Tuna.
experience with last time. Mustard, olive oil, lemon juice, capers, and now we
That's
gotta
so
blend this thing up until it's
interesting.
nice and smooth. Now we gotta create a spread of this sauce at the
Oh, so it's
bottom,
like a
lay out our
gravy.
cold roast beef slices, and top it with some more of this sauce. This is called vitel tonne, and I gotta be honest, initially I thought this was not gonna be very good, but these flavors surprised me very much, especially the sauce. I kinda can get into it, but not more than a 6.3 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't look too interesting. Yeah, it's just like looks like a plain meat with gravy. Yeah, not
And I
bad.
can't wait for day
I
5.
think so far what we've seen, Greece looked the most. Well, I love sweets, I guess that's why. But Greece, and I think I would put Sweden second.
But for now, welcome to day 5 of rating Christmas food around the world. And behind this door, we have Germany. And
So I think he did a TikToks, and he basically just put TikToks in a YouTube video.
So you have like 24 TikToks.
Yeah, I think you've had 24
That's so
TikToks.
cute.
It's a TikTok a day.
Yes, that's so
Oh, interesting idea.
Yeah.
Add like Advent calendar like for
cute.
TikTok.
Yeah. Or
Oh.
just say 24 days. It's okay.
will not believe what rating these cookies got. The recipe is very simple, but what makes it special are these ground up almonds that are mixed in, as well as the use of vanilla. I just mixed it all together, and after a firm dough was formed, I wrapped it tightly, gave it a little kiss, and let it chill in
That looked like a lazy boy a little bit, kinda. Okay.
the fridge for about an hour before cutting it and forming it into these cute little crescent-shaped cookies. And apparently these are kind of a cousin to the French croissant. But anyways, we're gonna bake them, and in the meantime I infused some powdered sugar with some more vanilla and heavily dusted my cookies with it. These are called vanilla kipferl, and to me personally,
I ain't gonna lie. This might be a 10.
Think about these screams Christmas joy. They are warm, nutty, and subtly sweet. I absolutely love
You
them,
love
which is why they will get a
That's
9.2 out of 10 for.
I think you would like that one.
I'm a tied with Greece.
I haven't had my pick. I need to see everything first.
And I can't wait for day 6. But for now, welcome to day 6 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. And today we have India, and India has lots of celebratory
Do you know now that I think about it? Is it even his profile?
You think he
No,
sees
it's
someone
his.
else's
I think it's
content?
his,
I
it's
don't think
his.
he could do that.
Ah, it's his. Yeah, no, it's his. Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, somebody could just take someone's TikTok and post it on the internet.
dishes, but the most requested one was chicken biryani. We marinate the chicken with a whole lot of spices and aromatics, and in the meantime, in some ghee and a bunch of aromatics again.
But now that I realize it's TikToks, I understand why he shows cooking. I think he's a chef. I think that's his content. So I get the idea behind it.
Look at this thing. We cook our thinly sliced onions until they're soft and brown, which is not a nice pairing of adjectives. Add our chicken, cook it in
Because I feel like you kind of have to be a chef to do this, because otherwise, I don't know if your followers are going to be interested in watching it. If you're not a chef, you cooking something.
those juices for a while, and in the meantime we parboil our rice in a lot of spices again. I like Indians, they put flavor into everything. Add our rice to the chickeny goodness, some onions, some herbs, some saffron infused milk, cover it with aluminum foil, and cook it for a few more minutes. And the result was this flavor bomb of a meal that I gotta admit was one of the most satisfying things I've ever made. This is a strong 9 out of 10, and I can't wait for
I don't know. Not something
Rice
I would
and
want.
chicken.
Not something I would want. I don't know.
day
I eat
7.
that all
But
the
for
time.
Yeah, not for Christmas. Though.
Yeah.
now, welcome to day 7 of rating
That's
Christmas
like everyday food. That can be everyday food, literally.
dishes around the world. Today we're heading straight to Poland, where some sort of soup is always going to be served on the Christmas dinner table. I am making red beet borscht, and I'm adding lots and lots of earthy ingredients into this rich soup.
His
It's
red beet
traditionally
look
made
too
using a
thin.
fermented beet base, but I couldn't find it, so I seasoned it with some vinegar to give it an acidic kick. Now this very red soup is served with uska, which are tiny Polish dumplings made with a super simple dough. They are filled with a mushroom and onion mixture, and shaping them was not my strong point, so I asked my girlfriend to help me. They ended up being super cute, and after I boiled them, I topped them with the
I am gonna lie, that's nicely shaped, homemade, like dumplings. They look what you would buy at the store.
delicious beet soup, and look at that, they match their flag colors with the dish. This is bashed zuskami. It looks very Christmassy. The taste was warm and earthy, very comforting meal. I will give it an 8 out of 10.
For the borscht,
It looks so thin.
it's not really borscht. It looks like syrup. Borscht is a thick soup. A is redder than this. This looks too liquidy, and B, there's actually like stuff in it. So unless I guess this is the dish, maybe not, but it's not like what actual borscht is though.
But what do you think day 8 will be? Welcome to day 8 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. Today we're going to Morocco for one of the most flavorful dishes I've ever tried. We start by seasoning some chicken and cooking it in a pan on both sides, making sure to get some browning on that. We're gonna take it out, give it a good shred, and after that we go in with some onion and garlic and a lot of spices. Most importantly, ras el hanout, a lovely spice mix used in North African cuisine, and also sugar. We're gonna cook that with some water, adding some beaten eggs and mixing them in for a nice creaminess and some richness. Add the chicken back in, some almond flakes, some parsley, and this is one amazing pie filling. And it's gonna go straight into a pie dish lined with fiddle pastry sheets, which I'm also gonna use to cover the top of the pie. And finally, after baking, a touch of powdered sugar. This is
powdered
pastilla,
sugar?
the sweet and savory combo in this dish.
Interesting.
Okay, so
I would try it.
this Canada, but better. I feel like
This is yeah.
because I like chicken better than beef, and it looks
This is
like
chicken thighs, by the way.
whatever, it's still chicken. And B, it looks it's more bready than Canada.
There's interesting twist. The sugar on top
Okay, this is interesting. This is a wild card.
and the egg.
Truly something special. I went with the highest score yet, which is a 9.5. But let's see if day 9 can
Yeah, it does look intriguing. Yeah, that was very intriguing.
beat it. This is day 9 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, and today we go to the Netherlands, which is where I live. So let's see if I can do them justice, making these amazing Christmas balls. We start by activating our yeast in some sugary milk and adding it to some flour that I sifted
So just donuts, I think.
for slowly and carefully incorporating everything until a very stretchy batter is formed. I also mixed in an egg, and now we're gonna cover it in plastic wrap and let it sit for an hour. Look at how stretchy this thing is. Now, using 2 spoons, I will form some balls. They won't be
Yeah, don't even like when we make Lithuanian donuts, it's use 2 spoons.
perfect, but that's the beauty of these. Simply fry them until golden brown, and you can do many variations. I made some with apples and cinnamon, and they turn out great. I also made this massive one, which please don't do this at home. I definitely had too much oil in there. A generous dusting of powdered sugar, and these are oliebollen. They're commonly sold in Christmas markets across the Netherlands, and they're a lot of fun. They will get a 6.4 from me.
I don't know, like this is donuts. I feel donuts should be like a solid 9 at least.
I like this.
Yeah, I don't 6.4. Maybe he didn't.
His looked like it was a little raw in the center.
It does. I wonder if he's a chef. Because if he's not a chef and he's
I
cooking
don't
these
know.
foods, then how can we trust him?
It was look a little raw.
Yeah, because this does not look like a professional.
So why would you put all of it in one? That don't make no sense.
Yeah, because like when we react to the other guy who did like Reese's with Cesaro recently, he's a shit. Like his stuff is legit. This I don't know if I can take him seriously
Because they're a little underwhelming, but still good. And I can't wait for day 10. Welcome to day 10 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. And today we're heading to Colombia for some more Christmas balls. We have some queso fresco and some feta cheese, and we
Okay,
process those
cheese.
until grainy like this. We add cornstarch, tapioca flour, sugar, and salt, and mix that with 2 eggs until a cohesive dough is formed. And the consistency of this dough was unlike anything I've ever touched, almost like soft rubber. Anyways, we form some balls and we drop them in some oil that is not too hot, and we're just gonna fry them until golden brown. They were kind of turning and flipping on their own, so I didn't have to do anything, which is pretty cool. And look at how perfectly circular these
I
are.
need to make
They
these
are
again. Like our
called buñuelos, and let's bust one open. You can tell these are crispy on the outside and soft and fluffy on the inside. They're commonly served
I know, wow, these kind of look like our donuts.
Yeah.
with hot
We make
chocolate,
these
and let me tell you,
before.
this was a special experience. I didn't expect to love them as much as I did. They get an 8.2 with a
Yeah, I wonder how they taste with the cheese because we use cottage cheese. Cause,
I think it should be still like cottage cheese.
but it shouldn't be that far off. Oh, that's interesting.
star from me. And let's see if day 11 can beat them. Welcome to day 11 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. Today we have Portugal, and after Ronaldo ghosted me, I took matters into my own hands and traveled across the country to find this. It's called bacalhau. It's salted and dried codfish.
We know that's their thing.
And this thing is the main
Makes sense. Is their kind of national thing? That's what they eat for Christmas.
thing on a
We make
Portuguese
this too
Christmas
as well.
table. It has to be soaked
I
for a
like
couple
it.
of days to get rid of the saltiness, but in the meantime we can prep the other things. I started with some potatoes and carrots that I just boiled in salted water, along with 2 eggs that joined them later, and after I took everything out, I added my fish. I cooked it until it was cooked, and the last component was cabbage,
But
that
we
I
do it
simply sauteed
differently.
with a lot of garlic and some good olive oil, and laid it in my plate as a base for everything else. I added my taters and my carrots, the amazing codfish, and the hard-boiled eggs. I topped everything with a good drizzle of Portuguese olive oil, and the taste of this fish was amazing. Subtly salty, tender, and not fishy tasting at all. This gets a 7.9, but let's see if day 12 can top it. This is day 12 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, and today we're heading to Bolivia, where soup is the king on Christmas Day. We start
I wonder how he picks the countries.
Yeah. You think he's gonna do Lithuania?
By browning some meat, I'm using chicken and beef, and after that's done, I add a lot of veggies. Carrots, celery, onion, parsnip, bell pepper, and garlic. We're gonna cook all that in there for a while to develop some flavor. I also added some spices and aromatics and topped everything with water to simmer for a while. We also add some red wine, and some for me, thank you very much. Some raisins, some green peas, and some corn on the cob, and this soup really has it all. Later, we add potatoes, the chicken that I cooked earlier, and lastly, a little sugar. And after slowly simmering for a good while, this soup was ready to serve with all the goodness inside of it. This is called picana, and the fact that it's packed with ingredients and lots of flavor made it a complex but still comforting experience. Freaking amazing. 8.5 out of 10. Stay tuned for day 13. Rating Christmas dishes around the world, day 13. And behind this door we have Spain with Roscon de Reyes. And this Christmas circle is not the easiest thing to make, which is why in Spain most families purchase it from
panettone?
I don't know.
specialty bakeries to skip out on the effort, which I definitely get, because even
Like
after
the
making the
cake?
dough, there was some technique and a lot of time involved. And I'm sorry you have to see this, but this is how you create the oval shape of the roscon, which actually represents a king's crown, which is why we decorate it with colorful candied fruit, some pearl sugar, and almonds before baking.
I
And
don't
look
know
at
if I
this
would like this. I don't know.
beautiful thing. You can have it like
I
this,
see
but some
inside.
recipes call for sawing it in half and filling it with some light vanilla cream.
Okay.
So that's what I did. Tradition dictates that a little baby Jesus toy is hidden inside this
I
cake, and
still
whoever
heard
gets it
about
pays
this.
for the whole thing. But
I
unfortunately,
still
the
heard
baby
about
Jesus.
this.
You were, but I don't know.
In Louisiana, they do this.
Yeah, I don't think we
And-
talk about Spain. When you were
No,
telling me
and they do it is around like Easter.
that. Mhm.
It's like a king cake.
This toy section of my local store was sold out. Either way, a solid treat. It gets a 7.
Doesn't look too appetizing.
I would try it.
No, I would. No, of course I would try it. It's a sweet. I love sweets, but doesn't like out of the sweets we've done, doesn't look the best sweet.
4 from me. Stay tuned for day 14. This is day 14 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. Behind this door, we have the Philippines, and you should wait and see the unique flavors that go into this. We start with some rice flour, all-purpose flour, baking soda, sugar, salt, water, coconut milk, a couple eggs, some melted butter, and a bunch of shredded cheese. And we're gonna mix that up to form this batter, and I really couldn't picture the taste of it at that point. These are banana leaves, and we will clean them and
Wow.
Where do you even buy it? Wow.
heat them up in a pan to make them more pliable. We'll use these to line our baking dishes. Pour the batter in
No,
and finish with some
he's a
salted
chef. He
duck
has
egg,
the
which has a
ramekins
salty
too.
umami
He has ramekins. He's a chef.
flavor, and some more cheese on top. And after these cute looking cakes have been baked, we brush with some melted butter and dig in. This is bibingka. And wow, these were unlike anything I've ever had. The texture was fluffy and moist, and the flavors in there were surprisingly
I wonder if
complimentary.
it had to
Really
be
like-
in the banana leaves. I guess it's part of the traditional aspect
I
of it.
think maybe it absorbs a little flavor from the leaves because I'm sure the leaf has some sort of flavor. You know.
Like this, 7.8 out of 10. Can't wait for day 15. Rating Christmas dishes around the world, day 15. Today we're going to the UK, and this is going to get a little bit
Fish
crazy
and
by the end,
chips.
guys, so stick around. This is Christmas pudding, and every household has their own version of
Yeah,
this.
remember when we did the Britain food? I think it was the most recent one. Why British food has bad reputation? I think they talked about the. Why would they talk about it?
The
Anyway,
blood pudding?
no. One of the reactions we did, they talked about that Christmas pudding. They light it on fire.
I made mine with some cranberries, raisins, medjool dates, dried apricots, ginger, rosemary, and a bunch of crunch
Or somebody said that in the comments. I don't remember. I don't know.
pecans, followed by orange zest and juice. And this mixture is held together by breadcrumbs, this thing called suet that I had to order straight from the UK. Flour, eggs, and milk. Now it's time to get your hands dirty and mix it up until you get this thing that kind of looks like construction material. Butter up the mold, fill it up, cover it with a bunch of things, and tie this cute string around it. Now we gotta steam it in simmering water for no less than 4 hours. And now comes the fun part. Please don't try this at home, but we gotta top it with some flaming bourbon to finish it off. But yeah, it was moist, fruity, and a surprisingly satisfying experience. It gets an 8.7 out of 10,
That's
but let's see
something
if
to
day
try.
16.
Interesting to try, but it's a lot of effort to make it at home. Yeah, it's a lot of effort.
Order at the restaurant.
Yeah, that's something you probably would buy. Yeah, I don't know if I would want to make that.
Can top it. You will not believe what Japan's traditional Christmas dish is. This is day 16 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, and in Japan, Christmas is far removed from its religious roots, and it's more of a Western and American-influenced secular celebration. So much so that on Christmas Day, thousands of people line up at their local KFC to get their bucket of fried chicken. That's right, eating KFC is the most popular Christmas tradition in Japan. This dates back to the 70s, when KFC Japan decided to introduce the campaign Kentucky for Christmas, spreading the belief that fried chicken, specifically KFC, was a staple for the American Christmas dinner. This had such a success that today more than 10% of KFC Japan's yearly sales are concentrated between the 20th and the 25th.
Wow, that's wild. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Huh?
of December. So while it's definitely a clever
Same
marketing
thing I
campaign,
hear
and
from
I'm not
like
gonna
other people too, like Jewish people, they go
Yeah.
out and eat
Mhm.
Chinese
Chinese,
food.
yeah.
Obviously, that on
Yeah,
TV.
if religious people, they don't, they eat.
Mhm.
I also know that they are Chinese for Christmas.
a bucket of fried chicken always brings me joy. It pales in comparison to Japan's generally rich food culture and other Christmas dishes that I've tried.
But this
It
is
gets
like
a
so
6 out of 10
specific.
for me.
KFC.
This is an edible log of wood, and it's one of the most elaborate dishes I've ever made. This is
This
day
is the
17 of
Yule
rating-
log. I had
Christmas
these
dishes
when
around
I was
the
little.
Where are they from?
I don't know, USA.
world. And today we have France with Bûche de Noël. This log-shaped cake dates back to the days of the Celts,
used to
where
make it
Yule
in
logs were
Publix
burnt
all
on
the
the shortest
time
day
with
of the year to
chocolate.
promise the return of the sun in spring. And over the years, this
The logs are super popular in Lithuania.
I
They're
love
they're
the
not
logs.
like Christmas
It's
food,
like
but
chocolate with the cream. It's
yeah,
so good.
it's super popular in Lithuania. Yeah.
tradition translated into this
I love
delicious
that.
cake that was popularized in the 20th century in France.
They
This chocolate sponge
discontinued it
cake is
here.
rolled up, filled with cream, and rolled up again
Aw.
before being covered with a layer of chocolate
Yeah.
buttercream. I also drank my full-
These logs are. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I don't know if he's a chef. This does not. He did not do a good job doing it. But yeah, the logs are a very popular food.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a tree log.
Kinda, yeah.
work across the buttercream to simulate a bark texture, and I decorated it with cute little meringue mushrooms that I made earlier, along with sugary cranberries and rosemary. Mine doesn't look the best, but I was very proud of myself for making it. The
You
inside looked
dragon
really
kid.
good, and the taste was worth the effort. I gave it an 8.
I like this
This is day
cake.
18 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, and Mexico may have just introduced me to one of my new favorite dishes that may or may not have gotten the highest rating yet. I started by seasoning some pork shoulder and browning it in a Dutch oven, and I topped it with this delicious braising liquid made from dried chilies that I rehydrated with some chicken stock, some onions, tomatoes, and garlic, and a bunch of spices that I just blended
Nah,
up.
but he put a lot of effort into making these foods. So these are. Oof.
This pork is gonna cook it for 4 to 5 hours, and guys, this
Yeah,
thing
he's a
was
chef.
one
He
of the
has
most
the
delicious
really
things
good
I've ever
material.
made, and I'm not exaggerating. Then we make a quick mixture using some lard that I aggressively whipped up, some of that godly braising liquid, some masa harina, and hot water until we get this creamy consistency. And we just spread that into a corn husk, followed by our meat filling, close it up, seal it nice and tight, and these bad boys were steamed for 1 hour, and the result was mind-blowing. These are tamales, and they are the first 10 out of 10 Christmas dish. This is day 90.
I didn't know tamales was a Christmas food in Mexico. Interesting.
You know, rating Christmas dishes around the world, and to
Yes, that you saw that log. That's what we made. What did you say?
He reminded me of my childhood with the Yule log. It made me happy.
they were trying Hungary. These are called bike.
Yeah, these like we have all kinds of these like we make here. This is with poppy seed. It seems like.
Please. And because I have some Hungarian blood in me, I stole this recipe straight from my mom. I have lots and lots of memories of my family baking these around the holiday season and just making our whole house smell amazing. But yeah, this dough was left to rest in the fridge, and in the meantime, I worked on my fillings. I heated up some milk and sugar and poured that over some poppy seed for the poppy seed filling,
That's
and over
poppy
some ground
seeds.
walnuts and raisins for the walnut and raisin filling. Makes sense, right? Now I split the dough in half and carefully rolled out both pieces, filled them up with their respective
Oh,
fillings,
like
and rolled
caviar.
them into a beautiful log like this. Now we give them a brush with egg yolk, let that
You guys
harden,
do
brush with egg
similar
white.
Yeah, poppy seed is super popular filling. We do cream filling. Yeah, all kinds of. You can put anything as filling, whatever you want. You can put like nuts, raisins. It's because you basically bake a sheet, put the filling, and just roll it up. It's very simple to make. Yeah.
Poke some holes in them for the air to escape and bake them. And these beautiful rolls are one of my favorite things on earth. And yes, I am extremely biased, but nostalgia is the best ingredient. So I'm afraid we have two
it
10 out of
is.
10s back to back.
Yeah, this is really good. This is really good.
Have you ever barbecued in freezing temperatures? Because this is day 20 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, and we got Australia, where Christmas happens during summertime, and it's the perfect occasion to go out for a barbecue with your friends. So that's exactly what I did. But here where I live, it's cold as outside. But a little bit of cold is never gonna stop me. And now it's time to grill. And let's not forget about this Australian ginger beer. So after we discovered fire, it started to rain because of course it did, but
Wow.
eventually we managed to get some food on the grill. I made these marinated chicken skewers, some mushrooms, some corn on the cob, and some nice sausages. The weather got worse and worse, not exactly ideal for grilling, and eventually we managed to get some beautiful food. And let
Oh
me tell you,
my
after more than
gosh.
an hour in the cold, steaming hot barbecue never tasted
They
better.
could have put a
But it's
little
still just barbecue.
umbrella over there.
They weren't ready.
So I gave it a 7. This is day 21 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. Today we're going to the US of A, where the most requested.
So what is the dish?
USA dish
He kind of showed a sneak peek, but to me, I would think it would be like ham.
is ham.
No, it wasn't ham, but I would think what I'm thinking is ham. No.
I don't know. What's an American Christmas food. Christmas food. That's hard.
I was thinking it's a ham, no? Like usually, like, because like even at
Only
Costco
for
they sell
Christmas.
hams. You know those big hams.
I don't know, because it seems, I don't know if it's European or USA, the fruit cake. I'm
Fruit cake,
thinking
okay, yeah.
the butter cookies in the tin, but you make them.
I think that's European mostly.
Sugar cookies. I don't know.
Let's see.
Dish was sweet potato casserole. Now, I never tried this before. The flavor combinations always seemed a bit odd to me. But even though I had very low expectations, I still followed along with the recipe. After mashing my cooked sweet potatoes, I added eggs, some brown sugar, melted butter, cinnamon, salt, and some vanilla. And I finished it with some really nice bourbon. Gave it a thorough
should be
whip with my
good.
whipping device. And folded in some chopped pecans. Where's it?
Oh, it's
pecans?
like a
Who cares?
cake.
Put that in a glass dish, topped it with marshmallows, which will...
This is like a Thanksgiving
Yeah,
food.
this is
though.
like Thanksgiving to me.
This looks like a Thanksgiving staple, not a Christmas.
was a questionable decision.
But I wouldn't be too sure for Christmas, honestly.
I guess we're not American enough to know. Maybe it is to me, but this looks like a Thanksgiving food. Though.
And some more pecans. Now, keep in mind this is more of a side dish on the Christmas dinner table, but I have to be honest and say that this really surprised me. The sweetness was pretty subtle, and it was pairing excellently with the earthiness of the sweet potatoes. You know what they say, don't judge a sweet potato by its...
I would try.
Yeah, this honestly looks like a solid at least 9 to me. This is really sweet potatoes with marshmallows is fire.
Peel. 8 out of 10. This is panettone. It's one of the hardest
That's what panettone
breads to make in the world. Let's see if I can make it, because this is day 22 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, and Italy really brought me a challenge. This bread takes multiple days to make, and that's after you even make the starter.
I'm
Some authentic
surprised.
panettone maker.
It's quite affordable here. Panettone when it's on sale.
Yeah, well, you know, it's mass produced. So mass produced, no. But if you want to make handmade, yeah. My grandma told me, like, you know, she was making it if I wanted to make it too, but it takes like 3 days on that.
In Italy have been growing their yeast starter for decades, but I personally only had about a week. And after I made this first dough, I had to rest it overnight. And then for the second dough, I brought in some more flavors and some more fat, as well as these candied lemon and orange peels that I candied myself, of course. And I did do that to flex on you. I weighed it out and placed it in a panettone mold. And you're not gonna believe this, but after days of work, I completely burnt it in the oven. Now I'm not doing this to punish it, but rather because we need to let it hang upside down for 12 freaking hours, at the end of which, complete disappointment. This was quite a failure, and I initially was going to give it an 8.1, but after I got the real deal and compared it, I gave it an 8.9. This thing is heaven. For day 23 of rating Christmas dishes around the world, Jamaica just introduced me to a mind-blowingly delicious thing, and it all starts with these soaked fruits. I have some raisins, prunes, and cherries, and all this stuff is soaked in some sweet red wine and some spiced rum.
We have a nice one. We have cremas cake. It's
And
so
after a
good.
week or so, they smell amazing and they're ready to be blended up. Separately, we're going to beat up some butter with some brown sugar and gradually add in some eggs until they're all incorporated. We're going to fold in our soaked fruit mixture and prepare our spiced flour, which is just flour with all sorts of warm...
But I think in the Caribbean, the biggest country is Jamaica. That's widely recognized.
Holiday
Cuba? I don't know what
spices. Now let's add it.
A pork roast.
Roast in the pig,
And the flour until it's incorporated, and then this thing is called a browning sauce. It's used to add some bitterness and some color, and I couldn't find it, so I just made it from scratch. Add this whole thing to a cake pan, bake it, and before cooling, we're gonna brush it with some of that fruit soaking liquid for a final touch. I had low expectations for this, but it blew me away. Definitely the most surprising dish of the series. I had to go with a freaking 10. This is my favorite Christmas dish of all time. Welcome to day 24 of rating Christmas dishes around the world. And for Romania, I thought it might be easier to just go there. So let's just hop on a plane. Our first stop is at our friend Florin. First, he gave me some amazing cuts of pork that he ground up. He also showed me how meat is traditionally smoked, gave me some amazing smoked sausages and some other goodies, including the most essential part, pickled and fermented cabbage, which I then took to my mom to separate the leaves out. I made a meat mixture with some soaked rice and
looks like, you know, the Lithuanian thing.
Is it?
cooked red onion, and now it was time to fill our cabbage leaves.
The doves.
We then carefully filled up the clay pot with some cabbage rolls and some smoked meat and sausages here and there.
This is just part of the dish.
Finally, we top it with the pickling juice and some water and just put it in the oven for about 2 hours. And the result is pure heaven. These are called sarmale, savory, meaty, and fermented goodness enjoyed with the fast food.
So it's similar as the doves that we make, but it's like a little bit more elaborate.
Finished off the series with a 10 out of 10. It's over.
Wow. He's really, really talented.
Yeah, let me see
I'm so impressed.
if he's like
this is 24 days of...
Super talented.
Let me see his profile.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Welcome to...
Professional adder of flaky salt to things. So I guess he has the shit. I don't really need it.
Oh, it's really, really cool. I'm impressed.
Oh, I wonder.
That seems like his page, no?
Eating is some progress is the challenge. What? The best thing to put on rice. Can I make food while blindfolded?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess.
That's dangerous.
How I make healthy meals. Yeah, it seems like it's foodie, something food related, I guess.
Ooh,
Yeah, because
really?
I'm a little surprised how a chef burned panettone. Like, you know.
It was an accident. That was his first time, and it takes like 3 days to make it.
Okay.
He was bound to flop. He was bound to flop. But even though it flopped, he said his tastes better than the store. And I don't like this. Last time I remember,
No, the store tastes better.
Really?
But he gave
And
the
then
store
he took it back?
8.9.
Oh,
His was 8.1, but he bought the store and gave 8.9.
You can't win them all. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. So free to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.